Baby, I know your database needs upgrades tonight. We got those skills. Baby, I know your database needs upgrades tonight. We got those skills.
So anyone who hasn't had it, but I think everybody should have it because it gives them the security of their own website, and it's completely remote from anything else. So you've got absolute control on that.
I think it does a complete one every week, Chris, actually.
Sorry?
I think it does a complete one every week.
It all depends on what the parameters are set up to be.
Mine appears to, because
yours is set up for a weekly. Okay, well, it's an option that
right.
that you can set to weekly or monthly. So you either get a complete one once a month or a complete one once a week. It just uses more data. It keeps four versions of it, 4 cycles of it. If you don't want 4 cycles, then we can just adjust that if it uses too much of your space. Because I know there's I don't know. Is there a limit on the workspace G drive? Do you get a limit?
Yeah, normally.
15 is what the sort of standard Gmail is.
No, it's 30. And
30. Oh, well, yeah. Well, 30 should last you a while. Yeah. Yes. So anyway, so that's the one issue with it is that it's not really usable as data, in that you can't sort of say, oh, well, I want to see particular files out of it. It is possible to restore individual files from it. So things like if images have maybe lost or got corrupt or whatever can be pulled out individually. But as far as the database concerned, the database is one file, and so you either, if you're looking for missing information or such like, you have to have the whole database redone. So it's not if you just wanted a record out of your data that had disappeared and you wanted it back, then it's not really practical for that. So so anybody else wants that to be done, let me know, and we can just set up 5 minutes to do that. As well as that, I just really wanted to just go through what else is done at the moment, and then I think perhaps we should talk about what else. It's all got a bit higgledy-piggledy, and therefore perhaps we ought to sort of, just change it slightly and update it. What I do is, for those who didn't switch on the old backup procedure, I take a monthly copy of your database, all your files, and also a spreadsheet copy of your attendees, groups, and tutor files. That's the sort of standard backup that was taken before, and so I'm probably taking about half of yours all on that. But those who use the old system and it doesn't work anymore, and I don't know it doesn't work anymore, if you like, then you're not getting that backup anymore. Whether or not you want it is another matter. In addition, I also take a daily copy.
Sorry, Chris. Can I ask a question on that? Did you just say that you're not taking the backup on the old system? You've yourself converted to this new system, have you?
Right. No. I am. I'm doing this in levels, Eugene. But where on the old system, there was an option really either to take. You could take the backup to your own G drive, or if you didn't take it to your own G drive and didn't set it up, then, if you like, I know about that, and so the system takes it onto the system's G drive. So it is remote. But if yours is stopped working, which all of them gradually stop working, which is why we've had to do something different, and then if it's still set up to do it, then I'm not taking that backup. So I don't know who is still using the old backup. Is anybody still using the old one? Do they know it's coming, or do they ever look at it?
Well, we did before it fails, of course, but no longer.
Yeah.
I think we still do a monthly one, Chris. I get an email every month saying the No, his files have been backed up.
Oh, so yours is still working then?
Well, what's in there? But it tells me it's working, anyhow.
Oh, right. So you haven't looked at it?
No, I talked to my friend.
You might have a look at it, just see if it's actually there, because if the failure is that the data just doesn't get there. So
I think once it stops, you don't even get the file, Chris.
you don't get the email.
I don't think so. No, I think that's what happened with me.
No,
Yeah, me too. We get no email, no email and no file.
yeah,
Ours stopped in January.
yeah, ours stopped sometime during February, I think it was, or at least I stopped getting the emails, didn't even think about it, and then you came up with this new system. So
Yes, yeah. But yeah, okay. Well, obviously the big difference between the old system and the new system at the moment is that it's a backup and restore, the new one. It secures your data, but it's not there for accessible data. In other words, whereas before you had your monthly, you had your SQL database, which you can extract from, and we can reload records and things if necessary. You know, we've just sort of gone through that with Congleton for some. So anyway, we might have a hole there. So I think people probably need to check whether if they have got it, and if they haven't, let me know, and I probably can switch it back on again, but to take it myself. But I'm not sure whether it's necessary. This is the conversation. I also take a database copy every day and store that remotely. So everybody's database I've got sitting on basically on my G drive, or the U3AWeb drive, I called it. Yeah. So we can always get yesterday's data, the day before's, the day before that's data back. So if that's necessary. But obviously things like images and forms and such things that are not stored in the database, but there are the files on their own, that's not being taken in that way. Of course, if the whole system is completely backed up separately again. So this, which is where so everybody's taken on a daily basis elsewhere. So there's always that available as well, but that's also in the restore sort of thing, but not so much for data accessibility. There's also the security sign-on, where you've got options to take data in spreadsheet format, individual tables out on a spreadsheet format, or you can also take your whole database in an SQL format, and that's just by clicking on the buttons in the security database, security menu. So there are all these, and I think there's quite a lot of duplication. And really, I think it's the question I had to ask is what do people really want to be able to get? Of course, sorry, one more is the report writer. You can still pull information out on there as well if you need it. So you've got all these things. What do you actually need, and what do you actually want from the system? That was a long introduction to ask one question, really.
So if I'm understanding this right, Chris, what we've got is we've got three levels. We've got the Plesk thing, which downloads to our G drive, which is it's a restore system. It's not one we can go in to look at data. So
that's right.
It'll be a restore. You then take a second backup, which is one that you can get to data. Is that right? If push came to shove, you could get to data in individual tables.
I get to yes, I take a copy of everybody's individual tables every day.
Right, and then there's a third layer which is done at server level, which is another complete restore. It's not one you can get data out of. That's done at server level, yeah?
That's right.
Right, but if we want to take table stuff, we can take it from using the thing that the very original thing that we used to have set up, where you could take individual tables as you wanted them.
You could take individual tables, or you could take, but that comes out as a spreadsheet rather than, so you can't use it to load back up again. Or you can, but it's not very easy to do.
Yeah.
But if you want, but you can have it in SQL, which is the whole thing, and then you can extract bits out of there
Right.
if you want it. But the problem with that is that, of course, if you're looking for information that maybe was there and not there anymore, then it's already gone by the time you pull it.
Right, but I think with what you've got in place, we are not going to suffer what they suffered with good old Site Builder and what have you, where they were down for a fortnight and nobody had a backup, it appeared.
No, absolutely. I think we got too many. Is my feeling.
Well, better too many than too few, though.
Indeed. One of the things which I am slightly concerned about. My area of concern is not the database, because that's got many different things. My area is things like the images and the files that you load up there, your stuff you've got in stores, that sort of thing. Because yes, it goes out on the full backup, and therefore it's restorable, but it doesn't go out unless it goes out on the it goes out on the old backup we had until a couple of months ago, because it was part of that backup. So you had all your files going down once a month as well. That doesn't happen anymore in a form that you can say, right, I want that file, I want that file, I want that file easily. And so that's the only area that I see there's some vulnerability there.
I did have on a couple of occasions recourse to try and find image files and use that method to do that.
Yes.
But I think that's the only thing I've ever searched for.
Yes, right.
So a restore facility generally is what's needed, I guess, which we've got.
You've got the restore facility, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's not entirely obvious, Chris, at the time that we've lost data, say, or it's gone missing, whether it's in the database or not. You know, the instance we've got now with the outings, it's not obvious to me before we went through the conversation that was in the database or in files. But look now, I know it's in the database. So it's not always that obvious. Files are files, we can see those pictures and stuff like, but you know, to me, it's not entirely obvious. So I don't know really how much I can restore or get back or not.
Well, I think if you think about it in terms of the report writer, anything you can do with the report writer is in the database, and therefore is restorable from SQL. If it's not in the data, if it's not in the report writer, then it's likely to be a file you've stored, an old newsletter or an image or something like that. And so that's
so from the Plesk backup, if it crashed completely, from the Plesk backup, we will be able to restore data, but not things like image files that we've used.
Oh no! Sorry, no. Your image files are inside that full backup.
Oh right, okay.
So you can get them there.
Richard, stop smiling. I'm playing the div here.
Well, my particular reason for going back and trying to find images was because I wanted to find a particular date when I loaded an image onto the website. So I was searching for a particular image number within the files that were backed up, which I wouldn't be able to do with just the restore facility on the TAR file.
You've got to know the file name in order to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. So that is a bit of an issue. Yes. So the last thing you want to do is to have to restore the whole thing, because then you know that probably might take you back a week or a fortnight or whatever it is, and you certainly don't want to do that. One solution that I can perhaps think about is that at the moment we can. I'm taking those images for half of the people, because I think the other half are working, but what I don't know is whether or not your other half is working. So if you want to let me know that it's not, then I'll make certain it's taken as part of the G drive image copy, which I take once a month on So I'm taking it on behalf of probably half of you at the moment, but not the other half. So I think that might be the answer to the getting images and that sort of thing. But I think going back to my question is what do you forget the restore and forgetting finding images? What do you want into? Can you get all the data you need from the report writer? I suppose is really the question, and therefore we don't need anything else. In fact, we don't necessarily even need the thing which is the in the security menu, if you can get it all from the report writer.
Chris, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to go by about 4:10, 4:15, so you won't get round to the thing I was going to ask, which you mentioned at the beginning. Apologies for that. But in answer to that question, that was one of the things I wanted to raise as to what I want from the report writer. I've been spending some time today trying to get a simple output of all our live members and whether they have paid their fees or not, and if so, how. And that must be possible from report writer. But I'm struggling to just sort out the difference between the various payment tables. We've got payments, payments made, payment type, payment source, and just putting those together. And I'm surprised. I kind of thought it's a fairly obvious report, and I thought there might have been one already. But any other suggestions or guidance on that will be useful.
Well, if you need help writing a report, which isn't you've looked in master reports, I guess. Yeah, but nothing in there. So I think Neil is always there, sort of always likes to help out. So if you need help writing,
I have one actually. I don't know. I have. I think I understand the payments table.
and I think David Worthing as well has.
Yeah, he's not here today, is he?
He's not here.
Yeah.
No, can't see it.
Well,
no, he's not here today. He's
very
on his way
close
to the Lebanon.
Is he? All right, very nice.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about nice.
Sorry, Roy. Thank you for that. We're only in Stenning, so we're just around the corner from Worthing anyway. And I've had a chat with David in the past when we first set up the system. So perhaps if I pop him an email, would he be able
Yeah,
to,
well, he's always been very helpful, willing to help. So yes, I would have thought that's your best bet. It's not complicated what you want, but it takes a little bit of SQL to actually do it. It's not that straightforward. You can just list the table.
No, I'm fine with the SQL. It's about what's in which table, basically. And
if you're not, there's a. Have you looked in the data structure part of the system?
Yeah.
And you don't think there's stuff there?
Well, there's for example, I think it's payments. Was it payments made? That was a really confusing table. Payments made. Because there's no notes on that one.
Well, some of those I take it are working tables, are they, Chris?
Payments made
Probably.
is for where multiple credit card payments are made. That's why it's there. If you're paying more than one thing in a single payment to Stripe, then that's where it goes to find out. Oh, you paid 40 quid to Stripe. Well, what have you paid? It goes there and says, you pay for that, that, and that. So it's a sort of multiple structure thing which enables you to break down a single Stripe payment into who's actually paid it.
If you look in the data structure, normally I add notes when I find out what fields what, and as you can see, and if you do find one, add it so you know what it is. I put down what type 1 is, type 2, type 3, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been through a lot of that, and I'm halfway there.
Yeah.
I've run out of
I'll
time.
just see if I've got one actually.
Well, I think you can always send me, or you can send Neil or David a note. I'm sure between us we can come up with a solution.
Okay, thank you.
So, so as far as using the data, it sounds you don't really have much of a use, except if you're using the report writer, that seems to be enough. In which case, all we need to do is it's the backup and security side we've got to make certain is secure. But other than that, you've got what you need.
Well, the beauty of the failing backup system we've got you know, the old one, let's call it, was that it was automatic. You got the tables, whatever you rearranged, time frame to get them from the system, sort of daily, weekly, monthly, and then we've got them there every day to manipulate. We didn't have to, you know, go into the system either to the report writer or to the security account, which is much more manually intensive. So we had this automated process, the file that came in method, and we lose that, don't we?
We do, yes, yeah. Now, as I say, I can switch you on and make and I can take it at the moment. Mine's not failing, so I'm carrying on using it. I can switch yours and make certain that yours goes out into mine for the time being, and that would. But that still means if you need it, you have to come and ask me where it is, and or I have to send it to you. So it's not straightforward in that way. So yeah, I think. I'm not quite sure how we solve that. It's not. I don't think it's going to be able to have it automatically there very easily.
It's easy to do in Linux machines because I take several a day, just straight files.
Yeah, but this sounds what Eugene's after. He's looking for the database, aren't you?
Yeah.
The whole database.
Well, no, particular parts.
Yeah, I just take specific files.
Mainly to do with the membership.
Yeah, I'd take all those, the membership, attendees, venues, all those tables every day.
For your own system, not for
yeah.
I mean, and you take that in Linux.
Yeah, but it's easy. It's only a few lines of code in Linux. I think you can use Windows PowerShell for the same thing.
So maybe that might be the answer for you, Eugene, to use that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can talk to Neil, perhaps.
Yeah.
I thought Holmes Chapel had one as well.
Well, they did. Is that not working now? That was Chris Ray developed that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite a sophisticated thing.
No, that stopped working.
Has it stopped working?
Stopped working when you changed the last one.
Right.
Chris.
I'd be interested in that automatic daily thing as well.
Sorry,
I'm just rebuilding mine actually, because actually I only use that. It's a Raspberry Pi.
Right. Sorry, Roy, I didn't quite catch what you said.
I was just saying I'd be interested in this
the
automatic daily backup of the tables, because I've sometimes wanted to go back to a particular date.
Is it something you could do a sort of demo of next month, Neil? How to do it?
Well, it's
if other people are interested.
I've never done it on Windows. You see, I've always done it on a Linux machine.
Okay.
Because there, all I need to do is curl and then the file location.
But that was on my MacBook.
It might do it on your MacBook, yeah. If I send you the syntax, Eugene, you could try it.
Yeah.
Whether it works.
Yeah.
What about us normal people that don't use Etch-a-Sketches?
I do use Etch-a-Sketches.
Well, it's
Paragraph.
So what do you want to use, Alan? What do you want? What's your requirement, rather than?
Well, no. From what Neil was saying, this works on Linux, whatever you want to call it.
I think it would work in Windows. It's just that I've got a Linux server that's headless server. You see that I'm just converting back to a Raspberry Pi. I've had a variety of things.
But the trouble is, if you schedule something in Windows, the chances are your machine's closed
your
down.
Your machine's off. That's the trouble. That's why this.
You need to have something running, which is a machine, which is.
If you go for that, if you go for one of these, its electricity requirements minimal. You just leave it running all the time.
What's the commission on that, Neil?
Sorry.
What's the commission for flogging those?
For building one?
To you?
Nothing. I've got that many of them. Why said, how did you want?
Funnily enough, we've got a group that specifically looks at Raspberry Pis.
Well, they can do it for you if you ask them.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's a very short piece of code.
And what are you taking? You're just taking the database out.
I take the files that I think I want principally for making booklets, that show the courses we're running and things like that. So it just automatically creates it then.
Yes. But you only need it because you need it because you do something specific with it. It sounds though not many people do something specific.
No.
Well, we do, as I say, with our membership. We since the last emergency, when you remember when it all collapsed, we like to have belt and braces on the be able to contact our members.
Well, I was going to make a complete replica of the system in Access, but I've never actually got round to it yet.
Well, I know David's set up a complete thing because he downloads it and loads it up into his own database, doesn't he?
So I was wondering actually if he'd actually unzipped
MySQL.
Unzip the TAR database, or unzip the actual backup.
Well, David was having a look at that as well to see if that's possible to do. I haven't heard back from him, so
when I built a new server, I'll just try it, but I don't care about it.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm not sure we got very far, but hopefully.
So what about things in the store, Chris? That was the only thing
Items in the store are not stored, obviously not in the database. They are on the separate list, if you like. So all your old documents and things have got to come out in some form or other. Now they'll be inside the backup you're taking to the G drive.
Yeah.
But there's no and there are ways in which you can extract those files individually. Yeah. But of course, what Richard says is you as long as you know what it's called. Yeah. That's the issue you've got.
They're confusingly called photos.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, yes. So it's not entirely straightforward. Okay, well, I'm not sure we're going to make any more progress on it. So, emails. We've obviously had problems with delivery of emails in the last few months, and some have been delivered, some haven't, well, what I want to do is to just get people's experience on it and whether or not, or particularly the people who are still having problems. One example, I don't know whether Monks Brook's on the call, but what we had with Monks Brook recently was that they were finding that a large proportion of Gmails were failing. And we spent ages trying to find out why that was. And in the end, it came back to, we got some advice from Google about the format of the SPF record that's set up. And in the past, we'd set it up according to Google's advice before. And clearly that wasn't working. So anyway, they gave us a format, and you've got to be very precise with the format. But if you put it in like that, it went from very unpredictable to the following day, totally predictable. It worked 100%. So I have put into everybody's domain name that I've got control of, if you like, I have updated their SPF records, so they shouldn't be experiencing any Gmail problems at all now. The strange part of it was that the SPF record, even when it was throwing them out, was still saying pass. It was passing it. And so anyway, it's not doing it anymore. So is anybody else experiencing problems with their delivery at the moment?
No.
Not that I know of, no.
Only going into spam.
Yeah, and a lot.
Well, that's the issue. That is an issue, Roy. That because that was Monks Brook's problem. Yeah. Going to spam.
An awful lot of that, Chris, I think, is down to the fact that each individual member that has had it go into spam have then got to whitelist themselves, haven't they? Mm. There's nothing we can do at that level.
Okay, but why is it going to spam in the first place? I suppose is the question. Because the items that are going out should be. We have had some historical problems, so maybe that's because of that. They should not be going to spam at all.
Well, I think our problem was the fact that because of our size, and we sent out, we were basically breaking Google or Gmail's rules on how many emails you could send.
Yeah.
And we had that period, I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks, where everything was going into spam because they said you're a bunch of spammers and what have you. And because all of it, everything went into spam, since then, unless the individual members have whitelisted us, we're still going into their spam.
Well, I'm surprised about that because Monks Brook's problems when as soon as we changed the SPF record, so the day before they were going to spam, the day after they didn't.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, totally. It was totally a 100% turnaround. So yes, you're going to get going to spam if people have deleted unread emails that you've sent to them, because I know Gmail does, and I think the others do as well. If you delete them, it's saying I don't want this, and therefore next time it diverts it to spam. I don't think it does it the first time. You know, it's one of these gradual learning things, and so once they've done that, the only way to get back on it is well, there are two ways as far as Google's concerned, but it's generally is to whitelist it. You've got to specifically say. So
yeah, the user has to either
not spam.
Yeah, they have to whitelist it, or alternatively put your send address into their trusted users.
Same thing.
Which is sort of the same thing. Yeah, if you go into their contacts list, you'll never go into their spam.
Well, as it happens, when Monks Brook was having its problems, it didn't matter what you did.
Oh, really?
Even if it was in the contact list, it was still going to spam. But having addressed that problem, that all went away. And so, but Gmail's got a filter.
Sorry, Chris. When did you change it? When did you actually switch it over to the new version of SPF?
Week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay, start of April, something like that.
Yes, yeah. So, why are you experiencing problems?
No. But it's just people say I've not heard much in the last few weeks, so.
Well, okay, that's good.
Why.
That's good.
Which U3As did you not update the SPF record, Chris? Do you know, or?
Port Maddock look after their own. Air, I think, look after their own. I can't.
Worthing.
Sorry.
Worthing look after their own.
Yes, I think they do.
We've in our SPF record, we've got all the bits that you said in your notes, but we've also got other ones. Does that matter?
It seems not. As long as the one thing it was very sensitive about. Now this was not Monks Brook. This was others. Was still is that where you set it up and you go IP4:. A lot of them had a space before they had the IP address. And if you have that, certainly the MX Tools thing says no. You've got an invalid thing. You've got to not keep the spaces out there, which is I went through and took all the spaces out as well.
Right.
So if you've got a space between that can cause a problem. But other than that, so
Thank you.
So it sounds as though people are much more comfortable than they were a few months ago on the. Right, good. Okay.
We do have a separate mail issue, but I'll contact you about that separately. It's to do with the contact us thing.
What you're getting dodgy ones coming through?
One particular dodgy one, yeah.
It's not the hello.
I think they're probably using a virtual IP address in the UK, but it's actually coming from abroad.
Yes. No, that's the problem. We can get rid of all the foreign ones, but yes.
So we've tried. Well, I've set up blocks on the IP addresses and some of the content, and we've put a filter in the local mail account to put it straight to the bin and things, but it seems to be changing. So I'll feed you some information separately on it, maybe.
What there is a filter put into the Contact Us one. It doesn't stop them going to it. It just stops them sending it to you. So you never see it. But as you can see, if you go into the page analysis, you get thousands of on that hits on it, but they never actually send to you because they get filtered out. But there is a list of words that the system filter. If the email contains any one of those words, it won't send it. So if you've got anything which you're getting a standard word coming through on it, we can stick that into the filter, and then it will stop everybody.
We just had a few this week, starting up with "Hello, we've got a prize for you."
Yeah,
Various languages.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
I've had that one as well. Yes.
Yeah.
In various languages, Afrikaners and Italian.
Yeah, we got one in Spanish.
So what have you done to stop it?
Well, we've only noticed it, but the last week, it's all come from the same email address.
Yeah.
So I'll put a block on
Zelatol.
that. Zelatol@gmail.
Yeah.
So I put a block on that this morning.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that makes any difference.
Well, as I say, we've tried a few things and we're still getting them. And the secretary's just emailed me to say another one's come through today, and she can't, or she doesn't think she can block it because the email looks as if it is coming from ourselves. So I'm not quite sure what she means by that, but so she's feared to block it in case all the inquiries then stop.
It'll be the from address, Richard, that will. They can spoof it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not whether the mail server taking a note of that, because obviously knows where it's from.
The one thing is he can't spell hello, can he?
No.
So maybe we should stick that word in there. That might stop him.
Well, as Dave said, the title is fairly plain English, high and price and common words. It's nothing untoward. And the subject matter is just a load of foreign gibberish that changes.
Oh, I had an English version of it. I've had an English version of it. Anyway, yeah. Right.
Just on that, before you wind that up, the note you sent out had the SPF, the DKIM, and DMARC notes, and there was an MX Toolbox check for each one.
Yes.
Which I did for hours, and I presume because you've set it up correctly, I got a load of green ticks for the SPF and the DKIM. But when I do the DMARC, that doesn't seem to work. Is that to be expected?
Yeah, it doesn't work in that it's not sending you the entry, or it doesn't even look for it.
It doesn't seem to understand what I'm asking for. The others just present the correct data and give them green ticks because you've got the right data, and the other one, DMARC, just doesn't seem to present anything.
Has anybody else done the DMARC check?
Yeah, just looking at it now. Do you want to see it?
You've got data of you?
Yeah. I don't quite understand it because I only seem to get Google and Yahoo.
I'm sure I won't understand it. It's just I'm wondering whether I should worry about that I've not got anything.
All right. I've just got a green line, basically.
So that's when you check it up on MX Tools?
No, this is just looking at their screen, the
output.
Easy DMARC.
Right. But I think what Eugene's talking about, he's testing the DMARC
right.
record that's been put in there. And some have got, I think it's only worth having the DMARC if you're having problems and we can identify what it is. It doesn't seem to be failing if you haven't got a DMARC record.
Okay, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry for the moment unless if you're getting trouble, then we can we can set it up, and then you'll get a weekly report, which will tell you what's failing, where it's failing, whether it's going to sky.com or gmail.com or whatever it is. So it gives you a clue about what's happening.
It's like further diagnostics to a failure.
It is, yes. That's really what it's for. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not worried.
Well, I haven't got any failures according to this.
Well, good then.
Yes.
Okay, right, fine. Anything else on the emails then? Right, okay. The membership table where you stick in your fees for the year, etc., is beginning to expire in certain places because
it's the last year for us.
Yeah, it's the last year for us as well because I've just done it this morning.
Right. Okay. Because there's 5 years there, and
That was a good David Bowie record.
What, 5 years?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was never into him. Yes. So what I need to do is to take off the bottom two and put on and basically put two at the end. And so I need to do that at the right time of year for you each. I've done some of them already because I knew when their timetable. So it needs to be done just before the free period starts, so that you can set up your free period.
Ours tends to be the start of May, so it's an ASAP for us then.
Yes, I had a feeling I'd done yours, but have I done yours? No.
I've checked since a couple of weeks ago. I'll have another check.
Okay.
Well, for Peterborough's case, Chris, our free period starts in 1st of June. However, we have got another year that we can run because I've literally just put in the 23-24 year this morning. So
yeah, well, you have, yes, but you would be yeah. I would suggest we put it in before we go into this year. Just to make certain.
Okay, so before the 1st of June for us then.
Okay, I'll do that. And anybody else needs doing it? Anybody else is coming up towards that sort of time?
Ours would need to be done before September.
Yeah, same with us.
Ours needs to be done before July.
Oh, right. I'll do Worthing's then, yeah.
Yeah, and Scarborough's would need to be done as well. We start our free period in July as well.
Okay.
I've just checked this on now. It's 2023 is the last year, so that needs updating, please.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I'll do yours. Yeah. I just want to make certain that I don't.
23 as well. May 23 is last year.
Okay. What I didn't want to do was to do it in the middle of a period when you're at, because if it goes and looks for the for the fee for in a certain place, if you're still doing fees and things, then we don't want to find the wrong one. But if you're in a quiet period, then that's the best time to do it. Sorry. So, Dave, did you say you wanted yours done?
Well, by the end of the year, we're just still in the process of just finishing off our renewals at the moment. So.
All right. No, I won't do yours yet. Then I'd rather.
No. Yeah. After June, we'll be okay.
Okay. I meant the other Dave. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I think it starts 1st of June.
All right. Yeah, I'll do yours then. Yeah. Anyone else? So I got Chudley, Scarborough, Worthing, Peterborough, and Congleton.
Easing Wall by September.
And Crewe by September.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I probably could do yours. Okay. Yeah. It's not going to bump into anything, is it? All right. I'll do those then. Right. Okay. The next thing down there was I was asked to talk about additional pages 1 to 12 and how you get an additional page up and working. This is time. I'll just sort of go into the system. Right. Okay. If you want, there's 3 elements to putting an additional page into the system. One is to sort of define the format of what you want the page to look like. 2 is to decide who sees it, and 3 is to decide where you want it set up in the side menu. So basically, oh, hang on, it's a good idea to log in. With additional pages, you'll probably find most of them. Well, you've got them all together somewhere in your system's details. If you haven't, then you've got to bring them out of your features list or sections list and bring them in. But what you should have is the 12 additional pages, and obviously just in systems details, you click on the right place. You get the format here, which you can adjust in the same sort of way as you do the other web pages or emails that you do. Sorry, I'll get rid of that. Yes, so that's the way you format it, just in the normal way, and so that doesn't switch it on. All that does is create it. The second place you need to go to is the horizontal menu, and the horizontal menu there is the deciding who can see it. And you've got 4 options about. So if you decide you've you've picked up a table, which is, I had 7 there showing, you can decide whether you show it to a visitor, whether you show it to a non-logged in member, a logged in member, or whether you want it on the mobile site. And so you've got those 4, which you can just switch it on and switch it off from there. So if you want to show it on there, if you don't want to show it on there, it's just simply not shown and updating it, and then it won't be shown to visitors.
You've got additional web page 7 there, but you've got the story of Enigma beside it. Where does that come from?
Okay, if I go back to
right, the menu entry name at the top.
Yeah.
Yes. So although you can hang on, I'll go the other way a minute. You can set your extra page 7 up here if you want to, in the same way as you do any other ones. You know, and this one's in a sub menu as it happens. So, but you can put the name of this is the menu name. This is the name that comes out down the left hand side. You can put the page heading in as well, which comes out on the actual page itself. But you don't have to do it with the additional pages. You don't have to do it there. You can do it, as we saw just a second ago, inside here, and then you can you don't have the same things in terms of being able to have a different background and that sort of thing, but you can have your menu name, your heading name, and whether it's shown or not shown there. So by putting it in there, when you come to do your horizontal menu, it will appear.
Can I ask the question, Chris? And I'm not expecting you to change this. Hang on, I'll turn my mic down so you can hear me a bit better. Is there any reason why in update system details the vertical menu is called the horizontal menu?
Yes, there is a very good reason, because originally the horizontal menu dealt with this bit, the horizontal menu, and
You can't see your mouse, Chris. You mean the blue line, I take it?
Oh, you can't see my mouse.
Oh, no, I can see it now. I can see it now.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I was actually doing it on the video. Yeah, it's yeah. So yes, so these here deal with the entries up here.
Yeah.
And then we added these afterwards, and rather than sort of introduce more and more parameters.
Oh right, okay. It just confused. The first time I ever done it, I thought, why is he calling that horizontal, for crying out loud? It's vertical.
I've just renamed it to menu options.
Yeah. Well, there you are. I think that's the answer, isn't it? Really, you can just change it yourself. You don't have to have what I stupidly called it. Yes. So yes. So those are the 3 ways in which you get an additional page up, by getting the format, deciding who sees it, and putting it in the right place in the left-hand menu. I can't remember who originally asked for that, but if there are,
I did,
and it's okay. Is that clear?
that's helpful. Thank you.
Good.
Chris,
Yeah.
can you just explain the interaction between not logged in, and the mobile option? Because
Yes.
I mean, effectively, there's 4 pages, aren't there? There's home logged in, mobile logged in. So how does that work?
Right. So okay, the 4 columns in this horizontal menu is obviously it's all to do with cookies on on your system. So if you have logged in at any time, on that computer, then there'll be a cookie restored to say that you have been there. So if you come back again and don't log in, you fall into this. Sorry, pointing in the wrong direction again. You fall into this not logged in column. So you can say. So you might want to have a page which you want to show to your members, but it's not something that needs to be hidden behind a login. So you can say yes, it's shown in not logged in. So, but it won't be shown to visitors. So someone who hasn't been there before and logged in, then they will always end up in this first column here. There's a mobile version of the site, which is a I don't know whether you use it up in I did know, but
yeah, we do. We got to no. It's just that what if we said we do want it shown to someone who's logged in, and we want it to be showing on both the desktop site and the mobile site.
Right. Okay. So you want so if we went this extra page 7, if you like, and we want to show it. It's gone now. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. There it is. Yes. So if we show it on the mobile site as well, you've got 2 options on the mobile site, because there's an activities on the mobile, an activities main menu and an information main menu. So you can choose which one of those 2 it goes into. So if we
at the moment as they're set at the moment with the logged in shown and then the mobile not shown, that somebody could go on the mobile site, they wouldn't see the page, but if they happen to choose the view full website option, then suddenly that page would appear. Yes, if it's not shown in the main site and on the mobile site, you can, because there may be pages you specifically want on the mobile site for people to see. So it's, it may be guidance. But then on the mobile site, it's not taking notice of whether or not they are logged in or not.
Yes, I think you've got to be logged in on the mobile site to actually see the additional pages.
I think it replicates what you've got there, Chris, shown as the visitor not logged in. It just says, is it on the mobile site, and then passes through the permissions. That's
does it?
I think so, yeah.
There is definitely something strange about this, though, Chris, because we've got a page at the moment which is an additional page, and if I've got my jolly old smartphone, and hang on a minute, let me log out, Zoink. Oh no, not group list, you idiot. Log out. Get off. Right, I've logged out, okay, and on the logged out page, when I click on the hamburger, I can see the additional page comes up, and I'm not logged in, okay. I can see the additional page on the little pop-up menu that comes up, okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, so you're not logged in. And
I'm not logged in, and I've got the hamburger, okay. If I now turn my smartphone sideways, I can get the strip menu that you would do on a tablet, okay. I'm still not logged in, and I can't see that additional page not logged in. On the strip menu, I can only see that page once I log in, and it comes up under information.
Yes.
So it depends on what orientation.
I think that's what I was sort of saying, is that you've got that.
Yes, there is
another column on there of mobile logged in and mobile not logged in.
I don't think that's what Alan's saying, Andrew. I think he's saying there's an error there, which there is, well, there isn't anymore, but there was. But the version you've got is. You haven't got the latest version.
Can I have the new version, please, sir?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, but so I'm trying to remember. Neil, you think that already?
I think yes. I think that's through, because I'm pretty sure that I've done ones. I've just trying to look for one then that follow what the visitor not logged in. So effectively, if you ignored the mobile and you just said that, it's not shown to visitor, it's shown to people who are not logged in, it's shown to people who are logged in. If you then said, put it in somewhere in the mobile one, it follows exactly the same logic. So it would only be shown to not logged in and logged in.
Right. Okay. I will. What I'll do is I'll check that and make sure that is the case, because it's logically it should be, really.
Because I just realised as I was looking for it that I'd taken something out of the main menu but left it in the mobile then.
Right. Yes.
Before
So
you move on-
I think, Andrew, it does do that already, but I will check it and make certain it does.
Okay, thanks.
Chris, before you move on,
Yeah.
down the bottom you've got those link 1, etc. And I can see you typing in web addresses. But how do you make use of those? Okay, you type in a web address. How does the member benefit from you having that there?
Well, it becomes a menu item.
Automatically. Well, you have to say you want it in the side menu, I suppose.
You have to say you want it in the side menu as well. But yes, so you've got these items which if you effectively want to go straight to another website from the side menu, you can do that with four links there.
I use ours to go to the Third Age Trust, one of them.
Oh, it's your thing down the bottom there. Yet another BBC link, Chris. Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
that's it. Yeah.
I think the best one is the link 1 to switch between mobile and back again.
Yeah, I've got that.
Okay, so
do you see that, Alan? Yes.
I can see the link there, the mobile one, yes.
And so that's
so if you wanted to put it in the side menu, how would you point it to there? Is there somewhere where you choose link 1?
Yeah.
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 Oh, so on one of the down arrows.
There you are. Oh, you can't see my drop down, can you? Hang on. Let me just change it. Say, just by doing the drop down, you can pop it into that top one. You can see there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it then becomes just an ordinary menu item, but you haven't got a page associated. You have a link associated with it.
Right. Okay.
Which is the same thing, really, isn't it? Because all the pages are links.
Yes. Okay. You have an external link associated with it, rather than although you can have an internal link as well if you want to. It's up to you, really. But I'm not sure that gains you much to have an internal one because you can actually just have to pick the page off it anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So it gives you the option to do that anyway, Alan.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Good. Okay. I'll move on then. The next thing was a question about authorities, and let me just go to administrator, and I think the question was, what do they all do?
Well, particularly the last column, Chris, was the one that I wanted to know about.
Yes. Right. Okay. Well, the idea of there's two new ones, recent ones, and that's
Secretary and content.
Let's go down there. Right. Secretary and content. So if we deal with content first, the idea of content was really, or the only reason to use it was to give a person who's not an administrator access to certain parts of systems details. So you might want them to be able to change additional pages 1 to 12, or you might want them to. So you create a section. Oh, damn, I keep on doing it. Yeah. So I think I've got one here somewhere. Have I? No, I haven't. Okay. Right. So what you do then is to, in your section list, you might say, right, okay, I'm going to create a new section list, which is called additional fields.
Pages.
Pages.
You already have it there.
Yeah, pages is a good idea. Yeah, pages.
I've already done that. Yeah.
And we'll make it right near the top. Okay, so I've got a new one here. I've got additional pages. In fact, if that was quick, I got one already.
Yeah.
I've done this before, I can tell.
Web pages is.
So in system and show features, I've selected the 12 additional fields plus categories, and then allowed somebody with content authority to have access just to this particular section. So if they log in, when they log in, and they would have this update systems details available to them, but all they can see is just the additional fields. They can't touch any of the other parameters. So it enables you to let other people change various things.
Okay.
The same as the secretary.
That's damn clever.
Well, the secretary is slightly different in that the secretary has powers, whereas the content has no powers. But you can give them access to things. Sorry, what?
What's the secretary got powers to then?
The secretary has powers to basically they have some administrative powers. So in other words, they can update. They have the same power as an administrator to do things like updating documents pages.
I've forgotten that.
Updating committee pages, updating forms, links, newsletter, those sorts of things. So whatever the administrator can do, they can do in that area. So if you like, it's meant to be the committee secretary, really.
So they get nothing in system details. It's merely gives them rights to things that exist already.
Yes. So if they went into newsletter,
yeah,
and they had only secretary thing, they would be able to update the newsletter.
Yeah, that was at our behest, Neil, because
I do vaguely remember it now. I'd forgotten.
Yeah, our secretary was unable to do stuff like labels and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they wanted access to be able to do labels for non-email members, and they couldn't do it. So Chris kindly designed us a little section called secretary.
Yeah, lovely.
So what's the definitive list there again? The document pages, newsletter.
Sorry, just say again.
Well, what was the definitive list the secretary gets? I mean, you mentioned a few examples. Was that an exhaustive list? Document pages, newsletter.
Documents, committee pages, forms, links, newsletter and I think that's it. Yes.
By forms, is that store?
No, that's forms.
Forms, right.
That's this page. Oh God, I'll click the video again. So U3A forms.
Right.
So store documents, not archive, because archive has got a separate authority level for archive.
One thing that would be nice, Chris, is if you could repeat the headings, where it says administrative membership at the bottom as well. As you get more people with various authorities, you have to keep going to the top to see which one you're ticking.
And how long that takes you to do it, and how long do you think it takes you to make the change? I could probably drive up to Crewe, make the change for you, and drive back again in the time.
I do occasionally tick the wrong one. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Take a picture of it. Do a screen scrape.
Ah, dear. Right. Okay. Fine. Okay. Well, I think that covers the authorities. Unless anybody else wants to talk about it at all. No? Okay. Right. I think Richard's gone, so we'll have to miss Richard a bit out. I think. Well, I will actually say what Richard was going to ask. Richard has a different view of doing renewals. He's got a renewal date of, let's say, the 1st of April, and that's when they send out their renewal notices.
Yeah.
And then people can pay up to 3, 4, 5 months after that. And so he isn't able to use some of the features that he was getting in a muddle on direct debits, for instance, because direct debits were trying to look 2 weeks before renewal date in order to send out direct debits requirements.
Why does he have such a long period for letting people pay?
He doesn't even ask. He doesn't ask them until after the date. He sends it out on the date. This is the renewal date. So, and I think he wanted to discuss the pros and cons and have a conversation with you guys about that. But
so in theory, their membership year, as you say, let's say starts the 1st of April. If they don't then pay until the 1st of May, they're not members.
Not members, no.
So they're not covered by insurance.
And they're not, and they go into groups where they're potentially not members either.
Well, I think this is, I think that's what he wanted to discuss, what the ups and downs of it was, and obviously they feel that. Well, no, I don't think. I think they do that because that's just how it's developed.
Yeah, it's been. Yeah.
And maybe he's looking for some reasons to actually go to his committee and say, well, why don't we do it
Well,
we
using
do it
the-
exactly the same way, Chris.
Oh, you do it the same way?
But we don't use the finance module, so we don't have the direct debit thing. But on the 1st of January each year, the mail goes out. And then they have 21 days and a reminder goes out. Now,
So
and then we start suspending people a bit later. And
Oh,
this,
right.
that, and the
Well,
other.
that's not that dissimilar. I mean, ours is
But
put on that date, you know.
But I think what you were saying that Richards has members who are 21 days that they aren't insured.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's possible. I don't know. If it is that different, if it's written in the Constitution that they've got 3 months to renew.
Well, maybe. Don't know.
So I don't know about that. But
No.
there's something in our Constitution about a time period.
Right. Anyway, that's what he wants. That's what he wants. Maybe he'll come back next month and ask the same question. So we'll see where it goes to.
I thought the insurance was sort of covered by national levels.
It is.
So in
It is,
regard,
but you're not a member of the organisation, are you? Then
yeah,
you're not paid.
So you're thinking if you go into a group meeting somewhere, you just don't have the insurance cover.
Be interesting to know.
I mean, that's certainly part of the suspension notice, that they're not covered by insurance.
Yeah.
But that's sometime after.
I'm much more draconian than that. They get cut off. That's it.
Yeah, we have a month suspension, but in that suspension period, the group leader knows they're suspended, and when they turn out, you go, "Give us your money."
Well, no, it's they've been red if they're suspended.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, just to tell you, here in Wrexham, I kick off the renewal process about 6 weeks before it's actually due, and I've got 50% of our members paid up already.
Yeah, within the first week.
Well, it's been 3 weeks now. I did it in the middle of
That's
March.
how ours is. Then you get the laggards, then they pay at the last minute.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, some of them will only pay on the 1st of May when it's
That's right.
due.
Yeah.
But by starting it early, instead of giving it a long time after, we give them quite 6 weeks before to get it all together. And it works. Yeah.
Oh, it works, yeah. Well, since we've been doing online group payments, I'm staggered at the speed that some people pay. I mean, you can literally press it and create the charge, and they're paid within 2 minutes. Others don't, of course.
Apart from Alan, which we know how he feels about checks for renewal, what he does. What's the general acceptance among U3As that pay by card? I'm trying to get it up to about 80% pay by
We don't
card.
accept cards.
We have about 95% pay by card.
Yeah.
Including group subscriptions as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 75% by bank transfer, then the others are check or cash.
Yeah. Well, with ours, we've got a few backs transfers, not that many, but then of the rest, it's about 50% is done by direct debit and 50% is done by card.
It's about 70% by card renewals for us.
Yeah, we're about 75% card.
Yeah.
Right. So if I can get it to 80, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
But paying for the groups, that's grown tremendously. I think nearly all of them are paying by card now.
Do you guys use direct debits as well, though?
Yeah, but
No, we don't.
No, we tell people that's our preferred option.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it depends. Like, you've not got a charity account, have you, Alan?
Oh yeah. Oh, well, he might have. Yes.
Which Alan?
Yeah, Alan Locke.
Me?
Yeah.
We've not got a charity
I
account.
thought you didn't have a charity bank account. You're too big.
Yeah, well, don't start asking me about bank accounts. We've changed now. We're with the... No, it's not a charity account. It's a business account, which is a
I say
because of our turnover. It's our turnover.
You'd have to pay for checks, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're at 70 pence a go. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. It got nonsensical. That's why we had to
We're
stop taking
still a
checks.
charity.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the only other thing we had on the agenda then was Alan had something to tell us about groups.
Right. Okay, thanks for that, Chris. Right, okay, guys, what you're seeing now is a slideshow that I used for showing our group leaders what it was that we could do. What we're talking about is with your interest groups, activities, whatever you want to call them, some of the groups, certainly in Peterborough U3A, They are unusual, let's put it that way. They want to be part of the U3A, but they also want to have an identity of their own. So to do this within U3AWeb, I had a bit of a play around, and in the group pages, each individual group page, at the moment we've got a header that revolves, so it's a standard header that goes across the whole website. But what we decided we could do was, for the actual group page itself, was to give the group a static header for their web page, and it would have a logo which would identify their type of group, if you like, what the group was all about. It would then have the bit about, in the U3A colours, the title of the group, and then a picture which would be provided by the group leader themselves, and it will be sent to myself or one of our other fellas that does a bit of the techie stuff, and we will create a static header picture to be attached to each group. So let's move the slide on, and it makes them stand out from the crowd, if you like. So when a visitor, that could be a member or a non-member, goes to their group page, it makes them stand out. It gives a bit more identity to the group itself. So we'll jump through that. I've said all this bit already about they want to be a bit individualistic, and it helps for a visitor to see in graphical form what the group function is. We've given them a logo, I said that, which we can tag to their group, and the logo still incorporates the U3A brand, but it reflects what the group actually does. So let's see some examples. Now, to do this, this is the logo that we've given them, and to do this, what I used was a fairly standard graphics package. I use PaintShop Pro, but there are other graphics packages that people use, and I'm sure you can do pretty much the same in any of them. So I created the roundel with Peterborough U3A in the U3A yellow, gold colour, whatever it is. And then into the centre of it I put something, a picture, which I got from various places. One thing to be aware of is make sure that whatever you nick from the web isn't hasn't got what do they call it, where you have to pay for the use of the picture. The word has escaped me at the moment. So in this case we've got a belly dancer, we've got two belly dancing groups, and we've got one for earth science there. Now I had to think about this, and where I've created it as a roundel, so it's a circle with a picture in the middle, it would possibly be easier for you to do if you created it as a square of some description, because unless you're good with a PaintShop package, and it took me ages to do this, getting curved text to go round a circle is a bit of a pain in the what's it. It can be quite difficult to do. So what I've done, we've got about 130 something groups, I think it is, and I've created a logo. So I did a standard template and then just put the pictures in the middle. We've done a logo for each of the groups. So there you can see two of them. There's another two. There's one for a bull group with a bull and the little jack, which is called a cochonette. Then for the All Things Irish group, fairly standard thing to display something Irish is the good old four-leaf clover, shamrock. We've then got various golf groups, so I did a golf logo with a golf ball and a couple of cross clubs, and because we've got so many golf groups, I've done these in different colours, so each group can have a different coloured ball and bits and pieces. And there's one for photography, so it shows a camera, so it gives an idea pictorially of what the group does. So you do need to create these for your individual groups. This is one that I created. If you haven't got a paint package of some description, I went to, just as an example, I went to https://www.freelogodesign.org/ and I managed to create this logo for, let's say, a bowling group. It's a bit rough and ready, but I managed to do this in about, it took me about 10-15 minutes, somewhere around there, and you can create a logo that would perhaps do the job. So if you haven't got a paint package, you could, there are various free packages on the web that you can use. So you then need a picture, which, as I say, we've said that our group leaders will provide the picture, and it enhances that pictorial identity. So what we're talking about is, if they supply a photo, it needs to be in an aspect ratio of 5:1, so 5 times wider than it is deep. Now this can be a little bit of a problem to get a photo that is 5 times wider than it is deep, but if they come up with something that is a larger photo, you might be able to crop a section out of it in a paint package to be able to make it in a 5:1 aspect ratio. You can see that one there is a lady playing golf, and it looks a little bit stretched, but it's not too bad. You can make them look okay in 5:1 by cropping them down. Okay, now this is what it looks like on a group page. So this is one of our golf groups, Golf Monday Mornings, and you can see the arrow pointing up on the left hand side there is pointing to the logo, which is the golf ball, a couple of golf clubs inside the roundel. And we put that on a standard template that we've got, which has got the blue and the gold triangles, yeah, sort of triangles, and we put the charity number in there because you have to display the charity number on each of your pages, and then you've got the title of the group, so it's Golf Monday Mornings, and the arrow that's pointing up on the right hand side is a picture of one of the holes on the particular golf course that they play. So they play at a place called Orton Meadows. That is a par 3 hole there, and when I played it on Monday morning, I did actually manage to get a par, but there you go. So that's just a picture that they provided, and that is in an aspect ratio of 5:1. I nicked this picture from the actual golf course's website, and I stuck the Orton Meadows bit on there so that people visiting know where they play. So what you do is, I can provide, if anybody wants this, I can provide them with a template that they can use that you would fit in your picture and whatever your logo is, and change the thing in a paint package of some description. So we've done that for, I think about 10 of our groups so far have taken it on, but we only introduced this about a week ago, and I think some of them are looking around to get what picture they want to use, and it's proving quite popular. So you then save the whole of this picture, and this is the picture you end up with to attach as your header. So this one here is for a different golf group, the Charity Challenge Golf Group, and you can see the logo in green on the left hand side there, and this is a picture of some of the golfers that are in that Charity Challenge. Now this displays the problems with getting the 5:1 aspect ratio. This was just a picture that we had kicking around, and it does rather make them look dumpy. We haven't got a particular golf group for people that are vertically challenged, but because we've stretched it out to 5:1, it does make the people look a little bit on the short side. But as I say, you can mess around. What I found is that the complete picture, so the whole logo that's going from the far left hand side to the far right hand side, needs to be roughly 1000 by 137 pixels, and that gives you a nice sharp header. So that will be the full-size picture. So back in the U3A group page, you would then click on the multiple images icon, which is the black 3 black squares stacked up, and upload your new image as a background header. We do that for the group leaders. We don't let the group leaders loose on doing their headers because they would get in a terrible mess. But if your group leaders are IT aware, they can probably do it for themselves. And that's what you end up with. So that's the one for the Golf Charity Challenge, and you end up with a whole header. So it's just something that we've done a bit of playing about. If any of the U3As would like to take it up, I can give a bit more detail, perhaps someone else, on how you go about it. Okay, so that's that done. Thank you very much. What I'm going to do is I will show you in a moment what we've also done on our front page as a calendar. So I'll come back in a minute and we'll show you that. Okay, so This is something else that we've done on our website. Again, these are just suggestions that people might like to take up. It's just little things. I like to play. I get bored in the evenings. The TV is absolutely terrible, so I tend to have a play. Now, all of this came about because I was on a video call with Chris and Neil and Richard the other day, and I can't remember quite why, but Chris pointed us at the Tiverton U3A website. So this is the Tiverton U3A website, and what they've got on their website, I can't remember why we were looking at it, Chris might remember, but what I saw was, I saw this calendar that they put on there, and I thought, oh goodness me, I like that. So I went away after the call and I did a bit of playing around, and I discovered that these calendar items that they've got 3 of them, which seems a bit over the top, but never mind. These calendar items that they've got are done in a program called Timely, TIME.ly, which is available as a free package. You can get a free copy of this package. They do a commercial one that you pay for, but they do a free package. And I merrily went on and I thought, oh great, I like this, it's free, I do like a free thing, and I had a bit of a play, excuse me a minute, I had a bit of a play and I actually got it working on our website, and I thought, oh, this is brilliant, I really like this. We will use this on our front page as a calendar that is dynamic and can be updated, so that people visiting the site will be able to see events that are going on, not so much group meetings, but events. So things like our monthly meeting, we have occasionally a couple of our groups do concerts and what have you that are open to everybody. We could advertise our AGM on there, our activities day once a year, so we could give plenty of notice of things that are going on and put it on the front page. So I'm thinking that this Timely thing is absolutely wonderful. However, I then set it all up and I merrily went away expecting to be able to see this on the mobile site as well, so using a smartphone. Unfortunately, it didn't work on the mobile site, and the reason was that I couldn't get it into the mobile site was because for the main site you've got your u3aname.org.uk /index.php as your web address, but for the mobile site, the mobile URL is mobile.peterboroughU3A.org.uk, etc., etc. So it's a different URL. Now with Timely, they will only display the calendar to one URL. Somebody did suggest that you could perhaps set up 2 accounts with Timely so that you'd have one that fed into the main website and one that fed into the mobile site, but that does rather make duplication of effort, so you're going to have to do it in both Timely websites. So I was a bit despondent at that point. I thought, oh goodness me, I'm never going to get this going. So I went away and did a little bit of bashing around thinking there might be other packages, and lo and behold, I discovered that you can in actual fact use a Google Calendar. So if you've got a Google Workspace account, you can set up various Google Calendars, and you can embed a Google Calendar into your front page of U3AWeb. And if I scroll down a little bit, this is the beast there. Okay, so how do you do that, you ask? Well, what we did is, if I go to the calendar page, and we will go to, let's make that monthly because that's a bit strange. So what I did was I came down the page a little bit on the left hand side there, and you can add a new calendar. So you click on the plus and you create a new calendar, and I created one called PU3A Events. And this was going to be used, as you can see here, there's not very much in the calendar, so you can see there, goodness me, we're on November, hold on, let's come back, right, there we are, back to April. So we're going to advertise on here things like our day trips. Our day trips are open across the board to all U3A members, so you create a calendar item, And here, hopefully you can see this pop-up come up, and you put all of the detail in. If I go to the edit page, might be better. You put all of the detail in, so you give it a title, you put what date it happens, you come down a little bit and you put in the notes about what it's all about, and then you save it. And we've got another one there. You can see that we've got a musical concert. That's another one we created the same way. Coming across to May, we've got our monthly meetings are called Tea and Talk. We've got another day trip going off. I don't know who's put that in there. Close date for... Oh, I know what that is. I'll open that up. We're doing a survey of all of our members at the moment, and we're advertising that that's the closing date for the survey. So I didn't know what that was. Down here we've got another one, a thing called Peterborough Festival. We're having a stand at Peterborough Festival in one of our big local parks. So we've advertised that in there. And you can see that we don't put very much in there, but it's just things we want to make available so that the members can see what's going on. So you create these various things in here, and they transfer dynamically into this calendar. I'm going to refresh the page for a moment. Right, when the calendar first comes up, it will show a limited set of events that are going on. But what you can do is you can either click on look for more to see things further in the distance than the 15th of June, or you can get hold of the scroll bar, drag it down, and as you drag down you can see that we've gone beyond June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So we go right through to the end of the year. So people visiting our page, and we put this on our non-logged in page because some things, for instance the Tea and Talk, our monthly meeting is open to non-U3A members, so we wanted to put it on our non-logged in page. So members will see it when they first go to the site, non-members will see it and go, oh goodness me, don't they do a lot. So I can hear the next question coming up. Well, okay, how do we get this onto the U3A website? I'll go back to Google Calendars, and what you do is you need to go where that calendar is, PU3A events, click on the three little dots, it's called an ellipse, and go to settings. And when you go to settings, you get lots and lots of settings, and you would possibly need to play around in here a little bit to get it to look how you want it to look. But where are we? I've got to find the blooming thing. Other notifications. Here we go. Integrate calendar. So down here with integrate calendar, it says use this URL to access the calendar from a web browser. Well, it's not a case of accessing it. What you want to do is you want to embed the calendar on your web page. So it gives you an iframe embed code. Okay, so if you click on there, you do your Control-C, okay, and you copy that that URL for the iframe. You then go back to U3AWeb. You do need to log in to do this. So I shall log in. Go to System Details, update System Details, and come down the page. Here we go, and there is our home page, so that's our non-logged in page. So you go there, and what you do is you can see here that it's down there as just a grey thing because it's an iframe, so they don't show, so you surround it with whatever you want to do. And if you go into Tools, Source Code, and come down just a little way, I've got to try and remember where it is. Follow us on Facebook. No, it's not that. I'm desperately looking for there we go. And you paste in what you just copied from the Google Calendar into the HTML. So that is everything that was on that embed code. I've pasted in there at the position that I want it on the page. So you need to do a little bit of messing about in HTML. But then what happens is as we'll cancel that because I don't want to change it. We'll quit that. We won't update it. We'll go return. We'll go home and we'll log out. So what happens now is, as you put events in on the calendar, the Google Calendar, this thing here, come out of settings. So as you put events in on here, they immediately transfer to this page here. So it is dynamic, it's almost instantaneous, and it transfers across. By the way, if you then want to put it on your mobile site, you do, hold on, I'll have to log in again. System details, update system details, home mobile page, go to the source code, and you can see here that there somewhere, if I can spot it, there we go, there is that embed code from Google Calendar. So you do need to put it in on both the mobile site homepage and the normal site homepage, wherever you want it to appear, and it will appear on both. So we'll cancel that, and what we will do, just to prove that it shows on both, if I go to the mobile device site, and here you can see this is our mobile site, and you've got the little hamburger menu up the top there. I've put it in a slightly different way of displaying on the mobile because it's only on a small screen. So I've put it as a calendar across the top of the screen, because if people are looking at it on a smartphone, it gets a bit scrunched up down the side here. So I've put it across the top and then put some other blurb underneath it to come up on the mobile site. So if you were to go to our mobile site for Peterborough U3A, you'd be able to see it actually working live. So it does work on both the mobile and the normal. So there you go, that's how you can get a dynamic calendar working on U3AWeb. Now, Chris has spoken about if there's enough interest from the U3As that he may see if he can find a prettier way, because I mean this Google Calendar is a bit utilitarian. Chris will perhaps, if there's enough interest from the various U3As, see if he can find a way of doing a dynamic calendar for the front page of U3AWeb, because this is all controlled externally to U3AWeb by Google Calendars. If Chris can come up with something that works in a similar way that is within the U3AWeb system, absolutely wonderful. But this might do you as a temporary measure. Okay, thanks very much then. That's all from me.